I, Zeus, take you, Danielle, to be the biggest fucking mistake I've ever made.
Nailed it.
You didn't go to my wedding, but you came to my divorce, huh?
So what? I wanted to see you happy.
All right, brother.
Today was such a good day.
You're telling me I could do this every day.
I know, right? Like literally nothing went wrong. It's beautiful outside. It's just
Gorgeous.
the best.
It's gorgeous.
I wish I could live over this day every single day.
If I could choose to live this day instead of a new day every day, I would do it.
Yeah, no, it was the best. Everything was perfect. Tell me about every girl you've been with before me.
Okay.
This is bullshit.
Einstein got divorced. Did you people know that? No, I didn't either. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest geniuses of all times, got divorced. They should tell you that before you get married. It shouldn't be, do you love her? Do you want to spend the rest of your life with her? It should be, do you think you're smarter than Einstein?
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
I absolutely went into marriage knowing I was going to become a divorcee.
Nope.
I immediately don't like you.
There's no question in my mind. I knew at some point we would get divorced. The only question mark was when.
I really don't like you. Seriously.
And obviously I don't want to get married ever again. However, double divorcee is a term that I'm living.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot.
So I have a list here of some men who have been divorced. Here we go. Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Dr. Dre, Ryan Reynolds, Tom Brady, Lance Armstrong, Alex Rodriguez, Channing Tatum, Chris Rock, Ben Affleck, Chris Pratt, Liam Hemsworth, Ben Stiller, David Duchovny, Orlando Bloom, Tiger Woods, Sean Penn, Sylvester Stallone, Paul McCartney, Ryan Felipe, Jason Momoa, Michael Jordan.
I like that.
Thank you, man. And they had a prenup.
That's crazy.
This is something that you posted on Instagram earlier this year, Curtis. I don't have time to be distracted. I'm practicing abstinence. From what exactly?
Jimmy, I'm focused right
You're
now.
focused.
My life is better. Things are a little clearer. No, I know the married people, you married, they say, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, they say that.
Yeah, you look like happy hostages.
I also like this, and I got a follow-up question here. On the bottom, if we can get a close shot here, it says right there, it says, is he really celibate? 50 Cent, are you celibate?
Listen, when you calm down, you can focus. All right, it's been good. I've been good to me.
Love it. Okay, but
Like,
what's
now,
the
when-
money for
Now,
if
look,
you're
when you-
celibate? You know, there's a couple of motivating factors in our
That's when things
evolutionary
start
biology, and they don't include celibacy.
Will you tell him, please? It's when things start getting complicated. Things start getting confusing because people coming for different reasons.
Gold digging whore.
And then if you like go on a date, but you have no interest in anything, you can I can see you now. I say, goddamn, girl, you fine, but you ain't got nothing going on.
I can't say that surprises me. Oh, but so the intoxication of a romantic desire clouds your ability to perceive
Absolutely
the person.
does, Steve.
Wow.
Most men.
He ain't lying.
Right. Yeah.
Most of us.
Mashman, yeah.
She
Have you
looks
been
good.
married? May I ask me, have you been married in the past?
I'm safe. I'm not a happy hostage.
You've never been married?
No.
Never been married?
I'm here, man. I'm free.
I don't blame you. Wow.
Yeah.
Free
I made some mistakes, just not that one.
He is the one.
Things I had to come to terms with before I finally filed for divorce. Coming to terms with the fact that I only had one life.
Does the word duh mean anything to you?
And that was it, was really the start of when I knew I had to move on.
This bitch can't be serious.
It's the living on a floating rock for me.
Man, this is some bullshit!
I don't know who said staying together for the kids was ever a smart or healthy idea.
What did you say? What the did you just say?
I don't know who said staying together for the kids was ever a smart or healthy idea.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, I heard it.
You're sick. I really mean that. You're sick!
But that's probably the worst thing you could do for them.
Can you say that again?
just the way you said it.
But that's probably the worst thing you could do for them.
That is blasphemous! That is blasphemous! How dare you? How dare you say such a thing? That is insanity!
I feel like even though my kids are still pretty young, 6 and 8, I feel like I have traumatized them.
Whoa. Hey, are you insane?
I genuinely feel like they have no idea what a healthy marriage or healthy relationship looks like.
Bitch, please.
I would never let my daughter settle for this type of life.
Why does that not surprise me?
So I didn't want to model that for her.
Have you ever wanted to believe in something, even though you knew it couldn't be true? Did you ever want to believe it so bad you didn't pay attention to what your common sense was telling you?
And that was really big for me.
Class A narcissism.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, I started to become numb to the things that I used to be so angry about.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
So I just noticed that everything that I used to care about, all the things that I used to love to do, and who I was declining. I didn't know who I was anymore, and I just didn't like who I was becoming.
Man, there you go with that bullshit.
Jesus Christ. If I had a penny for every time I heard soon to be divorced or just divorced or long time divorced woman talk about how she lost herself and how she became numb to the things she didn't like and how I was such a victim. Some of them stay-at-home housewives whose husbands are going to work and providing for them, complaining in the vaguest terms possible, and that's important, of how unhappy they are in their marriage and what a brave, strong champion of women they were to take the plunge and decide to divorce their husband, to decide to break their marriage vows, to decide to betray the man who was prepared to and actually was giving his life to you. So strong and brave, just because you lost yourself and you were so confused about who you were.
I can see what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
Listen and listen good. You are all self-centered, self-absorbed, self-obsessed cunts.
Damn.
You women, wives who divorce your husbands because you are unhappy. Here's the truth. Nobody can make anybody else happy.
It's too dangerous to be left alive.
Happiness comes from within. Happiness is your number one responsibility. You are responsible for your own happiness. Why? Because your happiness exists underneath your skin. Nobody else can control or is responsible or has the ability to respond to what is under your skin. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions are yours. They are yours to own and they are yours to respond to. Because you are a woman, you have never grown up. And growing up means learning to be responsible, learning to cultivate and develop the ability to respond to your thoughts, scary or pleasant, your emotions, painful or pleasant, your speech, what you say, and your actions and behavior. That is what it means to grow up.
I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
Your unhappiness is caused by one thing and one thing alone. You never fucking grew up. You never became a responsible adult. Daniel. You got married while you were mentally and emotionally still a 5-year-old fucking girl.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Who expected their husband to make them happy. That is the only reason your marriage failed. Daniel. And that is the reason that after your divorce, all of your relationships after that failed. Daniel. That is why the first woman is in the position she's in now, assuming she's a divorcee and not just a woman that could never even get and keep a man long enough to get married. That is why the second 60-year-old granny is still trying to date. And that is why you selfish cunt of a mother, damn, have made up a self-justifying cope where your infant children were suffering from the fact that you were too irresponsible to take command of your own happiness, projected your lack of responsibility onto your husband, and convinced yourself that if you divorced him, the grass would be greener on the other side. And you used your children to justify your decision.
This motherfucker don't miss. No, he's fucking good.
You are a cunt. And I want you to hear the feeling behind that word. The word cunt was made for women like you, mothers who traumatize their children and ensure the worst possible outcomes for their own children because they're so selfish, so self-absorbed, so self-obsessed, and so childishly immature that they would rather justify their irresponsible choice to get divorced by using their children as pawns in that decision than decide that their children's futures and upbringing in a stable family was more important than their inability to get their husband to make them happy.
Fatality.
You disgust me. I've heard so many of you divorced women say the same therapy speak, vague bullshit. Anytime anybody talks about something as important as why they got divorced in vague terms about losing themselves, you know it's bullshit. If he used to beat you, then you say that. If he cheated on you, then you say that. But when you're just vaguely not happy, it's because you never grew up, you never learned to be responsible, you're still a 5-year-old, you still expected your husband to make you happy when that is impossible. Nobody can make anyone else happy. And you were too selfish, too self-absorbed, and too self-obsessed to give any real thought to what your decision was doing and was going to do to your children.
What the actual fuck were you thinking?
Absolutely disgusting. And what's worse is that many of you divorced women that do this, who are actually the most selfish, most self-obsessed, most self-absorbed people in the world, mothers, claim to be spiritual. You use pseudo-therapy, pseudo-spiritual words. You talk about tarot and crystals and astrology, and you pretend to be spiritual, and you pretend to be loving yourself by selfishly breaking up your family and blaming it on your husband. You pretend to be spiritual. And as somebody who follows a spiritual path, a mystical or spiritual pathway, you give spirituality a bad name. Women like you give spirituality a bad name. So the reason I'm making this video is to clarify for everybody that watches it what spirituality is and what it isn't. Because what you kind of women, mothers, wives, terrible wives and terrible mothers call spirituality is actually the opposite of spirituality. It is 100% pure ego selfishness. And I am sick of you using the word spirituality in connection with anything you do. Damn! So that ends now. What is spirituality? Without the spiritual woo-woo, without the spiritual bypassing, and without the spiritual bullshit. Well, the easiest way to explain it is to explain what spirituality is not. So, what is spirituality not? Spirituality is not a belief. It's not an idea. It's not something you can think about or have a concept about. You can't know spirituality by thinking about it, because all you'll ever know is your own thoughts about it. Your thoughts about spirituality are like a menu. Menus can be useful. They can give you information about the food you're about to eat. But no matter how poetic and detailed and accurate a menu is, you can't eat a menu. The menu is not the meal. Your thoughts about spirituality are the menu. Spirituality itself is the meal. Okay, so that's one common misconception clarified. Spirituality is not thinking spiritual thoughts, and spirituality is not having spiritual beliefs. Number two, what is spirituality not? Spirituality is not a thing. It's not a crystal or a tarot card or an astrology chart. It's not an asana in yoga. It's not a flowing white robe. It's not a yellow headdress. It's not a mala or a vegan diet or any other material object. Why? Because material objects lie outside of you, and spirituality lies within you. Material objects can definitely reflect the spirituality that's within you, but any material object can do that. What drops into the toilet when you have a shit can represent and reflect your spirituality just as well as a beautiful amethyst crystal. Objects don't make you spiritual. You make objects spiritual with your attention, intention, and awareness. Okay, so that's another common misconception debunked. So first, we debunked the spiritual bypassing of thinking that spirituality is what you think. And now we've debunked the spiritual woo-woo of believing that spirituality lies in specific material objects that you think are spiritual. So then spirituality must be an action, right? Wrong. Spirituality is not what you do. Again, anything you do can be spiritual. Playing a game of football can be just as spiritual as meditating for 90 minutes. Cage fighting can be just as spiritual as chanting bhajans. And having sex can be just as spiritual as doing charity work. Why? Because you usually give your full attention, intention, and awareness to playing football, cage fighting, and having sex, right? But because you already believe that meditating, chanting, and charity work are just spiritual in themselves, you don't usually give them your full attention, intention, and awareness. So that debunks the spiritual woo-woo of believing that your activities and lifestyle are spiritual, whereas other people's activity and lifestyle isn't spiritual. So if spirituality is not what you think, not what you have, and not what you do, what the fuck is it then, smart ass? Fair play. I have teased you too long. So here we go. Here's the answer to the question, what is spirituality? Spirituality is choosing to be who you really are in this moment instead of choosing to be who you are not. In other words, spirituality is not a thought or a thing or an action. Spirituality is a choice. It's a choice you make in every moment to be in the present moment and experience the peace and power of now. The peace and power of unity, the peace and power of love. Spirituality is the moment-to-moment choice to live in the moment, instead of living in your head, in the world of thinking and past and future, the abode of the ego, the abode of the suffering self. And because spirituality is a choice you make in each moment, a choice between the only two states of being that truly exist, fear and love, you can only be spiritual by practicing choosing love in each and every moment. In other words, spirituality is daily spiritual practice. If you don't have a daily spiritual practice, you'll never understand what spirituality is. Until you die, you'll definitely understand then. So if you want a guided meditation that empowers you to choose love over fear in each moment, click here.